I'm going to be attempting to make traditional Navajo fry bread for the very first time in my life. Now, just to give you a very quick background, is growing up, I had Navajos in my life, and I was around a lot of fry bread as well. And I've seen the Navajos make it, and it is delicious. It is absolutely tasty. Probably not the healthiest thing because it is deep fried in, well, some people deep fry it in oil, some deep fry it in vegetable shortening, and yet still some deep fry it in lard. So, I've got all my ingredients. This could go one of two ways for me. It could either go pretty good, or I could fail miserably at this and this will turn out horrible. Let's hope it turns out well. But I will tell you, the Dene know how to cook this the very best. They are the most skilled at it. So there's no way I'm going to make it as good as the Dene, but I'm going to try. All right, so these are the ingredients that I will be using today, which I also have right here. All right, so I'm going to mix the dry ingredients first. So I'm going to take my 3 cups of flour, which, okay, yeah, there's 1. 2. Wow, I think this is going to be a lot of fry bread. I don't remember how much this makes because, again, this is my first time making it. Okay, that was 3. Wow, okay, it's going to be a lot. Okay, and 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, a lot of Navajos actually don't measure. They just go by feel, how it feels. You know, texture and consistency. But I'm measuring because I don't know how well I'm going to do. And take a ½ teaspoon of salt. There we go. And we mix the dry ingredients. Yeah, this is going to get dusty. I don't care though. It's a kitchen. Kitchens are meant to get messy. Just don't tell the person that's cleaning it. Nothing. Didn't say anything. Okay, well now that I've mixed the dry ingredients and I pretty much have gotten flour all over the kitchen, not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and mix in the wet stuff. So I'm mixing in my ½ cup of milk. Remember, I'm not a baking expert. This is my first time doing this. I really hope I'm doing this right. Okay, so, and then I'm going to mix in my ½ cup of water. Alright. Okay, mix it till it's doughy. I'm going to mix it till it's doughy. And you got to feel the consistency. There's so many different kinds of flour out there. Now, I'm using the flour that I'm using, and I hope this is the right kind. This is bread flour. Bread flour makes the dough easier to, makes it more plastic-like, so it doesn't tear on you. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mix this. It's going to start out real sticky, but the more you work it, the less sticky it gets. And if it's just too powdery, then you mix in more water. And it's kind of looking like I might have to. You know, and if you ever add too much water, you just add more flour. There we go. So make sure that it has as much of a uniform texture as possible. Not sticking to my fingers as much, and that's what you want. You want it to get less and less sticky. And if anybody notices anything I'm doing wrong here, please point it out in the comments. I need feedback. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this rise for 25 minutes. I'm going to let it sit so it rises and plumps up a little. So what I have to do is take a towel. See if this is big enough. to cover it. Yeah, and I'm gonna wet it. Yeah, I'm gonna place a wet towel over the top, and that will let it proof. Well, proof, I don't know. Let it rise. And the moisture in the towel will keep this dough ball from drying out. So we will see you in 25 minutes. All right, it sat for 25 minutes. Pull this out here. Now I have to knead it some more. Knead the dough, knead the dough. I'm just kneading it, and that's very important. You gotta knead it. So this is an experiment using bread flour instead of all-purpose flour. I've seen Navajos do it both ways with all-purpose versus bread, but this bread, this kind of feels like pizza dough, and that's the point, I think, in one recommendation, to use bread flour because it's very elastic and that's what you want. Okay, I don't know how long I'm supposed to knead this, but I've been working this for a while now. I'm probably good here. All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to break pieces off of this. So I'm going to try and do little balls of dough that fit into the palm of my hand. So maybe break a piece off. Wow, that's hard to break off. That's a good sign. I wonder if this is big enough. I mean, you can really do any size you want, but I'm going to do this size here. See that? Yeah. Or I could do it like this. This is how I see them do it, like this. They roll it like that. I guess I'm doing a good job. I hope. I don't want to make them too big because my pan may not support that size. God, this is tough. Ugh. I don't know if I can get a consistent size off these. This one's a little smaller. That's okay. Just as long as it fits in the pan. So I'm going to keep doing this till this is broken off into little pieces and roll them up. I'm going to take the vegetable shortening, I'm going to put it into the pan, and I've heard a lot of Navajos say that you want to cover the bottom of the pan with a 1/2 inch of grease to deep fry the fry bread. So here it goes. Talk about solid fat. I'm not used to seeing it in this form. This is like what comes out of a pan after cooking bacon. Okay, so there is a tricky part coming up. I'm not sure exactly how much. We'll cover it. We'll get the burner on here. Okay, so I've heard Navajos say to put a 1/2 inch of grease, although that seems like a lot to me. I don't know. So I think I've got like just under a 1/2 inch in here. But with that, you want to use as tall of a pan, I would think, as you can, because you really do not want grease to go over the edge onto the hot burner, because that's how grease fires start. At least that's one way. So you want to be really careful that your grease doesn't go onto the burner and catch fire. That would be a disaster. The oil should be very hot. In fact, when I've watched Navajos make it, the oil's so hot that it smokes. So when it starts smoking, I'm going to stabilize the temperature. I don't want it to get any hotter than that. It's a very delicate balance of temperature. If it gets too hot, it'll catch fire, I would think, and that would also be not a good thing. So when it starts smoking, I'm going to ease back on the temperature and keep it just at that smoke point. All right, so while that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and get my dough balls into a nice pancake to put in there. Okay, this is another tricky thing to do. Okay. So I think this is how they do it. I just want to get it thin, but I'm stretching the edges here. Stretching the edges. Make this nice and thin. The way I've seen Navajos make this, it's like it almost looks like making pizza dough. I'm going to stretch it real thin without it tearing. At least that's the goal. Have good ventilation. Use your ventilation fans. You do not want to be breathing smoke. Grease smoke. No good to breathe. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do one. There it goes. You want to cook it until it is nice and golden brown around the edges. It needs to be nice and golden brown on the bottom. Okay, now I can. Okay, I think it's done. And folks, I'm also using a long thing here so I don't burn myself. Cooks very fast. Okay. Look at that cook. Yeah, nice and poofy. Now the first two pieces came out kind of flat, and I think that's normal. Came out better than I thought it was going to. For my first time. Here we go with another. Don't get your fingers in there. Slightly. A little bit more. Learning to judge when it's done can be a little tricky, I think. Ah, fork got stuck. Bad. Oh, this is obviously the very best when it first comes out of the pan. And you'll see, you get the real big bubbles on it. And that's, yeah, good stuff. So, oh wow. It actually came out really good. I'm very pleased. Come on in. I'm very pleased how well it came out. It came, wow. Now, to be honest with you, it came out very much the way I remembered it. Super tasty. So, I have made dat dit nilgas dine Navajo fry bread. So, that is all for now. Thank you for watching. Begone.
Hey, oh.